Sammy Jo, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
You know, I've always wanted to have you on the show, and our schedules allowed for you to be here.
I know, I'm excited. I'm been watching your show on when I was getting ready today, just trying to be prepared for it. And I've been seeing you post a lot of it, but you know, with our busy schedules, we both kind of are on the same schedule.
Yeah. And this is a weekly podcast, and it's growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, my fans are growing and the viewers are growing, and I'm more comfortable with it. You know, I enjoy it. But the two things I like the most about it is that I get to meet interesting people like you, and then I get to turn all these viewers and fans on to you and to all the bands that come on, you know, the singers. So people are going to learn about you today. Like, we're going to take people on a journey, right? We're going to talk about, you know, how you got into music, your favorite bands. We're going to talk about your favorite concerts, everything that makes you special. But you're the lead singer of Jezebel.
Yes. I think you're natural at this, must I say. First, you do. You seem like it naturally. You seem like you're really good and just confident. And I'm
just
really
a big
happy
talker.
for you. Me too.
You know?
Me too. I could talk somebody's ear off.
Yeah. And that's good. That's what we're going to do right now.
Let's do it.
So Jezebel, tell me about Jezebel. First of all, why the name Jezebel?
Every time someone asks me this question, I always giggle a little bit because it's kind of a hard question and it's kind of an easy question. So I've gone through multiple musicians to get to the point where I'm at now. They just either didn't do their homework or they didn't take it seriously. But the original 5 musicians that I had, we all got together, and Goddess of Rock wasn't even a part of it yet. And it was just Jezebel, and I didn't want it spelled like the Bible because of all that craziness and just don't want to hear about it. And so it's one of the band wives was like, let's name it Jezebel after my horse. And I was like, well, that's a cool name. It could be rocker. So I was like, let's do it. So then that band just didn't work out. So we ended up adding Goddess of Rock, and I ended up going with the Urban Dictionary definition, which is someone very confident, a goddess, someone that's really good at what she does. So I'm like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. So I did Jezebel, Goddess of Rock, and that's what
Those are two great names, man. I mean, those are cool names. You know, sometimes bands have a tough time finding a cool name, right?
Oh my God, it's so hard. We came out with like Unchained and Unhinged and all kinds of different stuff. And like we did a notebook full of it and just.
But here's the thing. People probably mistakenly call you Jezebel.
All the time.
Right? They don't know your name is Sammy Jo.
All the time. We actually just had someone advertise a show coming up, and they're like, Jezebel, and then they put Johnny's name, and it's like one of our duos. And I'm like, where's my name? And they're like, oh, we thought your name was Jezebel. And I'm like, no, it's Sammy Jo.
Well, that's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, I go by both.
Because, you know, think about it. You're building a brand, right? Jezebel's become a brand.
Very much
it's a household name.
Very much so.
And I'm sure you have merch that says Jezebel on it, right? That people wear.
And my face is all over it,
Yeah.
for sure.
So you could easily be, you know, mistaken as Jezebel, but.
I could be called worse names.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So.
Well, I think you have a fantastic voice. And there's about 12, I want to say maybe 13 female-led bands in this area, right?
There's a lot of good vocalists, and especially the females. Like, I just love seeing them out there because there's a lot of males, let's be real. I mean.
Here's the thing. I think that females make for better front people when it comes to cover rock. And I'll tell you why. I think that, yeah, there's a lot of good male singers out there. There's no doubt. But I think females can have a wider range. You know, you can sing male songs, you can sing female songs, you can sing low, you can sing high, you can harmonize. So I've always had Jacked Up. We've always had a female singer. In fact, we're on our 4th female singer, and I love my new singer, Brittany Jones. I absolutely love her. Have you seen her?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think you guys are the same age group too. I think
I was talking about that on the way here with Quinn, my other half. I was like, telling her a little bit about Jacked Up and that I've come and seen you at Clancy's and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been a while. I saw you. I haven't seen you in a while, but I remember seeing you. You've played Joyland.
Yes.
You've played, you play a lot of venues, man.
Oh my
in
gosh,
fact,
Motorworks.
Here's the thing. You and our 2 bands play a lot of the same venues, but you go further north than we do.
We go everywhere. Anywhere the money's right. I just don't want to be stuck in one place. And I love meeting new people and I like to travel too. I'm still young, so it's kind of cool going to.
Where would you say your
places.
fan base is mostly located? Like, are you mostly a Sarasota band? Are you mostly a Manatee band? Pinellas?
We have a really wide following in definitely Bradenton and Sarasota area for sure. But we have a lot of following up in like Daytona and Crescent City area. We just don't play up that way as often. So
see, that's impressive that you've been able to grow like that. Because like we go down to Charlotte County, we do Sarasota County, Manatee, but we don't ever do, St. Pete or Tampa or Clearwater. And I want to do those places. Don't get me wrong.
I like Clearwater.
Like Treasure Island, there's a bunch of places up there that I just learned about.
Oh, I'm trying to get into a couple of the beach places around there. I just sent some applications
Thunderbird
out,
or something it's called.
but everybody's like so hard to get a hold of with like the applications. You have to go through these applications and the booking agents, and then there's so many booking agents getting those applications, and it's multiple. So it's like you just got to keep sending it in and being persistent. And
you're talking to the guy that does it.
I know.
Because here's the deal. Even though Jacked Up has become popular and we're like a brand, there's still people that will say to me, well, we don't know you guys, or we've never heard you guys, or, we already have, 12 bands we work with and we don't want to bring in any more bands, right? So you get a lot of that, right?
Yeah, you always have those people that have seen you multiple times, and then the people that have seen you new times. Like, and I always like when people are like, oh yeah, this is my first time seeing you, because it's like you're roping in someone else. You're roping in someone new. You're taking somebody in and hopefully Jezabeling them.
Yeah, well, it's very important that you guys grow your fan base, right? So then when you go to a venue, say in Clearwater Beach, right? And you could say, well, look, we're so popular that people will come. See, here's the thing we just talked about on the last podcast. It's about selling liquor and food, right?
Yeah.
So we're there to entertain people, right? So they'll stick around and spend money.
And bring money in.
So that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the ring. So like if Jezebel is known for having a big ring, like a lot of your fans are drinkers, or they order dinner as well, then yeah, the bar owners and managers, they take note of that.
Yeah.
So now if you say, hey, I need to get an extra $200, whatever, you can justify that. Like there are some bands here, and I can mention 22N is one of my favorite bands, and Kristen and David are going to be here soon. But they always have a huge crowd, and they always pack wherever they go.
Oh my God,
so,
yeah. And their production is amazing
right.
too. They got incredible production. So,
and that's it. That's the one thing that when I look at those guys, man, our production stinks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jacked Up's production is just nothing. Sometimes we forget to bring our signs.
It's expensive though. It's very expensive. Like our production is slowly getting better. We're starting to bring back our lasers back in because one of them broke, but they're like $1,000 for just a rack. We just bought brand new signs, which are $300 a piece. So, I mean, it gets expensive, and I don't think people realize what kind of money the bands put in and how much we have to put aside.
Man, it's expensive.
They don't pay us enough to, so.
Well, are you managing the band's funds?
I manage the funds. I do the promoting. I do everything.
So you're doing everything. This is your baby.
Oh yeah, this is my baby.
So do you put money aside for extra lighting, for extra gear, new gear? I mean, like, are you conscious of that?
All of us, well, not all of us, but Glenn, my keyboard player, he has helped me a lot with the lighting out of his own personal pocket, and it's come out of my own personal pocket. Sometimes it's come out of the tip jar, but not usually. We usually take all of our tip money and put it away for just like emergencies or at the end of the year taxes, because everybody's got to pay those.
Sure. So speaking of your bandmates, so walk me through your bandmates and tell me about each person, because here's the deal. I know a lot of musicians, and I've had a lot of musicians fill in with Jacked Up, or I've even filled in on bass with other bands, but I really don't know any of your guys.
We have Glenn Campbell, which I call him the real Glenn Campbell, the Silver Fox. He is on keyboards, he does rhythm guitar, and he's an incredible vocalist. And
where's he from?
He lives in the Spring Hill area. I have no idea where he's from, but he led a band growing up fresh out of high school, and then ended up just being an instrumental, and he still sings. And every now and then we'll take turns. And Johnny Chromatic, my guitar player, which is lead guitar, he toured with Sebastian Bach for a little while and has done some really incredible things. So I'm really lucky to have him.
So just to interrupt you, people do say things about Johnny. So like they'll say amazing things, like they'll say, oh man, that guy from Jezebel, he's wicked. He's awesome. Like,
oh my God, he shreds.
He has a reputation. I just wanted you to hear that, because they may not know his name, but they'll be like, that guy, who is that guy that plays for Jezebel? He's like one of the best.
I was watching him before he joined Jezebel, and he used to play for a local band called Buxton, and the band actually got together. We finished a show up at River's Edge, and we went out there and we went to see him, and he was freaking incredible. When we were auditioning for guitar players and he said he wanted to play for us, I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, let's do it.
Does he sing also?
Yes, he sings.
Okay. So very good. So the three of you are up front. Glenn, you, Johnny. Tell me about your drummer and bass player.
Rick, he is newer. He's been with us for, I think, a year now. Unfortunately, our drummer, Scott Murdoch, had a lot of medical issues. He's doing better now, thank God. So you'll see him filling in a little bit for us every now and then. But he's been playing for us. He's a heavy hitter. He's really good. Starting to do his homework a little better Love you, Rick. But yeah, he's starting to do, he's getting in our heavier hitters like our Dio and our original. And so he's doing really, really good. And then we have Wilder. He's newer, same as Rick. Chaz, our old guitar player, our bass player, moved to Colorado. So we ended up finding a new bass player, and he's amazing. And he reminds me a lot of my old bass player too, personality wise, playing wise. So I love him.
So you're happy with your current lineup?
Oh, I love them.
And how many cover songs do you think you guys have? Like,
Oof.
if you had to say, throw me a number of like how many songs you guys
Probably like 50, probably more than 50. We are currently trying to add some more stuff in, and we actually have a mashup, a 35-minute mashup, 25 to 30-minute mashup that we add like 10, 20 songs in, and it's so fun. And it'll go from like Rob Zombie to Whitney Houston to Cyndi Lauper.
I love that.
It's really cool.
You know who does that really well is Sinner.
Yes.
Sinner's
Oh
known
my
for
God,
that.
they're so fun.
Because they'll do like Adele
They're
and
so
have a male
fun.
voice doing Adele, and like
They did like Sexy and I Know It one time and everything.
Yeah, they're good like that.
They're really fun.
So as far as the genres that you cover, so is it safe to say that you're pretty much doing everything?
We're very versatile. We do a little bit of everything. I currently listen to everything. Like I can go from country to heavy metal to like Beethoven or something. So like I love everything. And I think that you got like a wide variety of ages coming out to see you and people coming out to see you. And you kind of want to grab everybody in the crowd. So if you just stick to one thing, it's not going to please everybody.
Would you say that your set list, is it mostly 80s, mostly 90s, mostly like 2000s, or like, how would you describe the time period?
Definitely mostly classic rock, like classic rock, high energy.
Classic rock, so classic hard rock. Do you remember 1025 The Bone used to be a rock station?
Yes, yeah.
They would play classic hard rock, like the Van Halen and the cool stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Right. So you guys are rockers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I was raised that way. Like I've been raised on country music, southern rock, and rock and roll. Like I had a biker as a dad and a tattoo artist as a mom. So
the thing is that you could play in front of bikers, but then you could probably also play at a festival in front of non-bikers. Like you can switch up your material to suit the crowd that's in front of you.
Absolutely. We've done family events. Like we do Oldsmar Festival nights, the days and nights, and there's a lot of, it's very family oriented. So we can go from family to like a Biketoberfest, or we've even done like college bars. So we've had like nothing but college kids. So
Yeah, the college kids love the 90s stuff.
oh my gosh, they
like
were
the Jimmy
yeah,
Eat
they were
World
so
and the
fun. As long
Blink-182
as
and-
you're like high energy and like you're passionate about what you do, then people are gonna love what you do. They're gonna be out there dancing on the floor with you and getting into it with you. And
Well, there's two things that people that are not musicians think about when they come see a band. They look at the lead singer, and they'll judge a band just by the lead singer,
absolutely,
if he or she is good or not, and then the guitar player. Nobody really says, well, the drummer or the bass player. I mean, yeah, that's important. Don't get me wrong, but like the first impression. So you're great at first impressions because you're up there and you're singing and you're moving and you're shaking and you're rocking. So you're bringing an energy. So I guess where I'm going with this is that you have a very good stage presence. And I think you're the epitome of a rock chick. Like you're a chick who rocks.
I bounce around a lot. I love what I do. I feel what I do. It makes me happy. I think music heals, and I think everybody needs that. And I can have like the roughest week and be in such a shit mood, and I'll go on stage and I'll be like, you know what? I don't want to play today. I'm just standing there and I'll like start feeling the music, and you just can't help but groove, especially when the guys make it so easy.
You have a good band behind you.
Oh, God.
Do you sometimes take a little drink to kind of loosen up a little bit?
Sometimes, every now and then. I never used to. I also wasn't of age when I first started, so I wasn't allowed to. But now, yeah, I'll have a little Jameson and ginger every now and then. Or
That's so funny. My singer drinks Jameson also.
Oh, it's so good. I'm Irish, though.
Yeah, she's from Boston area.
Yeah.
She likes her Jameson.
I like my Jameson. It's good.
I'll have a Jack and Diet to kind of loosen up a little
used
bit.
to drink Jack Honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But I have a policy, like I tell the guys, no drinks on the stage. Like have a cocktail during the break, have a cocktail, after the show. But like while we're on the show, on the stage playing, I hate seeing beer bottles and like drink cups on the stage. I think that looks tacky.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We do have our drinks on the stage every now and then. Sometimes you may be able to see him, but usually Johnny will keep his back by his amp so you can't even see it. And then of course the drummer's got his behind his. So you can't
Sure, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and I've got my monitor, so I can hide all my stuff, and I actually tend to stick stuff under my monitors anyway.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned monitor because I always ask, as a musician, I always ask these questions. Are you using a wedge monitor or are you doing inner ears?
I just got in-ears a couple months ago, so I've been on and off using them just because I'm trying to get used to them. Fran Hosh actually helped me pay for them. She is incredible. She's helped us with equipment.
The
And
attorney.
yes, she's amazing. She's one of the best people ever. She's helped me musically with my merch, and she, like I said, she just got me some really cool
That's awesome.
customized
That's really
in-ears
nice.
from Dream Ears. So
I didn't know that. I have a whole new level of respect for her now.
she's the best. She does a lot for the music.
She sponsors stages. Like there's the Fran Hash rock stage, like I think of Peggy's maybe.
Yeah, she sponsors a ton of stages. Actually, a lot of the events. If you don't know that, she sponsors a lot of the bike nights. During COVID, she was taking the band's advertisements off Facebook and putting them in the magazines locally and actually paying for them all. And
Very cool of her. I have to meet her
it was
someday.
really
Yeah.
amazing. She's a great person.
Now, do you like the inner ears, or like you said, you're not used to them yet?
I have a love-hate relationship with them. They're just so scary. You can hear every single flaw. And thank God I got the ambient vents. So for people that don't know what those are, they're little holes drilled in, so I can actually hear people talking to
Right.
me and hear everything. So I'm not completely closed off.
Right.
I feel like if I was closed off, I would hate it. I wouldn't like
Yeah,
that.
because I get closed off.
Yeah, I don't want to get closed off. I want to be able to interact with my people still and be able to listen to what everybody's
Right.
saying. And
As a lead singer, you need to. But
Yeah.
my drummer is like locked in, so he's got them on. I wear them at certain venues. Sometimes I'll take one out, but I've noticed that I'm a better musician when I have them on because I can hear everything. I can harmonize better.
yeah.
You could be a better singer with them, no doubt.
Oh, it pushes
And
you to
you
be
don't
better.
have to scream. As a singer, sometimes we sing louder because maybe it's like one of those venues where you're not loud enough or the band's too loud, so now you're singing louder than you normally would.
Yeah.
With the inners, since you can hear yourself so well, you don't need to strain your voice.
Absolutely. And my guitar player loves to be loud. Love him.
Does Johnny wear inners?
No, he does not.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
I know
When a guitar
Glenn-
player gets loud on stage, you know what it does? It forces everybody else to come up.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been known to do that. Like I'm supposed to leave my bass, set it and forget it. But I'm like, I'm like,
And we're loud anyways. We do. We like to be loud. Glenn, I know, got in-ears, but he did not like them. I don't think he ended up getting Dream Ears, though. And I know Dream Ears is what most of the musicians around this area use.
yeah, I just went off market and I went to these things called Kazaz, these little ears, these speaker headphones, they're double drives or whatever. And then I use this like little portable transmitter thing.
That's what I
But
do.
I need to get fitted though, because Todd Plesko turned me onto that. He got professionally fitted with his ears.
I got mine fitted and everything, and it's a game changer. It's like an absolute game changer.
But see, there's indoor venues and there are outdoor venues. So here's my thought. If you're playing outdoors, right, and you got good wedge monitors, then you don't need them. But if you're indoors and you have to keep your stage volume low because there's walls and hard cement floors, you have to wear them.
yeah,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
it could be a disaster if you don't, because the stage volume can get so loud,
And I actually got my name put on them, so nobody can take off with them or anything. It scares me.
That's funny. Someone's going to steal your
Because
ears.
I've had my stuff stolen off stage before. I had my purse stolen and my phone stolen
That
the
sucks.
same day. It was totally sucked.
Damn. Now, when you're doing your sets, are you doing 2 big sets? Or are you doing 3 small sets? Like, how do you break up your show?
It just depends on the time slot that we're booked for. Usually, if we do a 3-hour show, we are doing 2 sets with 1 break.
And how long's that break?
Like 30 minutes, I think. I don't know. I always go up to my guys and I'm like, are we supposed to be on yet? Can you just tell me what time we're supposed to be up? And then I'll just.
Do you feel that because you're the singer that you want to have as much time as possible to rest your voice and to hydrate? Because here's the deal. I always want to rush my guys back. I'm like, Mike, come on, let's play. People are leaving. They're like, no, let's get the full 30 minutes,
I mean, I feel like a little bit of both. You definitely don't want people to leave. I feel like if you do longer sets, people aren't going to leave and just be like, hey, I'm going to just communicate with the crowd. Like, hey, we got 1 break. Just give us a little bit and we'll be back. Please don't go nowhere. I interact a lot with the crowd when I'm out on my breaks anyways. So I'm not really getting a break much because I have so many people coming
Right, but
up
you know
to
what
me.
Renee told me? She goes, sometimes it's worse for her voice to be talking to people
It is.
than it is to be singing. Because when she's singing, she's doing the proper breathing, the diaphragm thing. But now she's got to talk to people on the break. So she likes to go off and not talk to people.
Yeah,
on the
especially
break.
when you're trying to like kind of like degress and stuff like that
'Cause-
after being up there and pushing, especially when it's so hot in Florida. Some of these outside gigs.
But you're doing a lot of double shows. Like you're doing a Friday, Saturday.
Mhm.
I looked at your calendar. I mean, you guys stay very, very busy.
Oh my gosh.
You ever
all the
do
time.
3 in a row?
Yes.
That's got to be tough on your voice.
We do 3 in the row, and sometimes we do weekdays. So we'll go from weekdays and still do the weekends. But all I do is music, so I want to make money and I just want to stay busy and
Because potentially, if you do your duo, right, you could do that like during the week
absolutely.
and then do the full-on 5-piece during the weekends.
Yeah,
So you're probably playing what, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, personally?
usually, sometimes, usually 2 to 3 times a week.
So you're a professional musician.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how you're making your revenue. That's great. I mean, you're living the dream. I mean, people are probably
I
like
love what I do.
jealous. They're like, wow, man, she gets to do this for a living.
It's not all sunshines and rainbows, but it's very hard. When I first got into the music business, I'm like, this is gonna be really easy. All I have to do is like listen to some songs and learn them, and that's that. That's that. I didn't realize how much money is you have to put into the equipment, how much time and work you actually really have to put in, the confidence you have to put into yourself. Because when I first started, I stood on a stage. I was so scared to be in front of everybody. I barely talked to anybody. I was by no means a social butterfly. And I just stood there tapping my leg. And now I'm just bouncing all over the place,
Walking around,
hopping on the bars.
owning
and,
it.
Yeah, getting in people's faces and just loving it.
You know what I
love
call that? I call that engagement, right?
I love it.
And I think that the more you engage with your audience, the more your tip jar goes up. I really believe that.
And the more you feel it, and the more you're passionate about it, it's going to be so much easier to do that.
But I think that I've noticed that, tipping is always better during season. Obviously,
Absolutely.
that's math, right? But I think that even like in general, if you open up your personality a little bit on stage, whether you may say a few things about where you're from or talk about something, and then people have a tendency to want to be more. They'll clap more and they'll be more into you.
And just be yourself. Like I'm very, very ditzy and giggly, and I mean sometimes I'll mess up on stage and I'll just joke about it and laugh about it and go on. And
now, are you a perfectionist in the sense that do you bug out if like someone hits a wrong note or like someone drops a drumstick?
We every now and then you'll see one of us doing that, and we'll just give each other like funny looks.
Right.
So we'll just like laugh at each other, joke, and like go over to each other and go like this. So I mean, we'll bust each other's chops.
It's so funny because of all my bandmates, I'm the leader of the band. I'm the one that like steps on something, or I pull my cord out, or I break a string. It's like always me. It's like,
oh my gosh, there's been a couple of, I mean, Johnny's even hit me in the face with his guitar. So, and we'll still like, we'll just giggle about it. And
or like you forget to charge up your phone or tablet. Next thing you know, you're out, Oh, that's another good question. So when you're on stage, what are you doing for your lyrics? Are you memorized everything? Or
I have everything memorized. There's been a couple songs where I pulled up my phone and I've used like a cheat sheet every now and then if like we're adding it in or something like that. But usually I have it all memorized.
That's pretty impressive because you have a lot of songs. So the cool thing about that is that you can actually leave your mic stand, take your wireless, right? And you can walk around. You're not just locked in there, right?
Oh, I love having a cordless. I could not have wired. I started off with wired, but again, I'm too energetic. So when I was going out in the crowd too, it's just a trip hazard, which people are drinking and everything else, not great. So.
Yeah, right. Now, what do you do? How do you handle requests? So for an example, you have your set planned out and you're excited because there's certain things that are going to flow. Maybe that medley's coming up soon, right? And you'll get somebody that will come up. Either they'll wait for you to be on a break or they'll talk to you in the middle of a song asking for a request, whether there's money involved or not. How do you handle that?
Usually I just try to be like really cool about it, and I'll be like, yeah, if it flows, I'll be like, yeah, let's do it right now. Or if I know it's going to fit, or I'll just be like, hey, can you wait a little bit? And yeah, I got you. We'll do it. And usually we just figure it out. When we added Rainbow in the Dark, we never even did that song. Someone came up and asked me to do it. And I'm like, I don't know that song. And one of the guys started playing it, and I'm like, oh my God. So I just looked up the lyrics and we just ended up doing it.
That's cool.
Like off the top of my head, which usually I'm like, usually that scares me. I'm like, not that sporadic. I want to know the song at least a little bit, but it was fun and it ended up working out.
Here's the thing, man. And we start out as musicians, right? And maybe we start in the garage and then we gravitate to karaoke. Next thing you know, we're playing in a band, then the band gets better. Then at some point we become entertainers. We transition from being a musician to an entertainer. Now it's like not about you anymore. It's about them. Then you become a performer where now it's like you're just totally doing it for the dance floor. Like I play songs I don't care about, but I'm doing it because they work and the people are dancing. So I think what happens is when people want requests, we try to accommodate that because it's not about us anymore, man. It's like Sweet Home Alabama is a great example. I always talk about this. Sweet Home Alabama is one of the greatest songs ever written, but it's also one of the most played out songs ever done. And then when people keep saying, we want to hear Sweet Home Alabama. So yeah, we play it.
That's like Bobby McGee for me. Bobby McGee, oh my God. I love that song and I love Janis Joplin. And actually a lot of people will compare my voice to her. And because I've got that rasp and sometimes even I've got more rasp. And everyone's like, do Bobby McGee. And I'm like, oh God, no, not again.
But every female singer gets thrown that.
Yeah, I do.
Because if you're a female singer, they want to hear this. Isn't it weird how like they want to hear Janice? Like,
and the crowd loves it.
yeah,
Like,
no, I mean, Janice is very cool, man. You know, we should do Piece of My Heart,
oh man, that's a good one.
but we do Bobby McGee also, and we usually close a set with it because the band will jam on it. Like we'll just go crazy on it, rock and roll. But yeah, man, I think a lot of females, you know, they're kind of like stuck into that stereotype where like they're expected to do this.
Yeah. Same with Dirty Deeds. We haven't done that one in a long time, and I'm so happy about it because like it's very overplayed, but people love it. But I mean, same with Highway to Hell. But I love doing that one. It's so
So you love
fun.
AC/DC.
Yeah, I love AC/DC.
So you pay a bunch of those guys. Now that's not easy to sing, right? Do you tune down?
Like we tune up on a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm bad with that stuff.
Do you learn stuff in straight tuning, and then from that point you determine whether you need to go up or down on it, or do you like just how do you handle that?
I usually just learn it, and the guys kind of go with what I kind of go with.
So you'll listen to the recording,
yeah,
and just do it there, even though it might be in an E when you're more comfortable singing it in a D.
Yeah.
Okay, because what we're doing is we're trying to group our songs that we tune down on. Like I have a pitchfork now, so I just hit a button, bam, it steps down half. So we can say, okay, we're going to do these songs in standard tuning, but then this part of the set list, this will be the songs that we're stepping down on, and we group them like that.
And you'll actually see some of our songs like that. You'll see us move a bunch of songs around, but then there'll be a couple of songs where we just do not move them because of the tuning down. Like Black Velvet, I'm the only one. They do some funky stuff there.
Black Velvet is a half step down.
Yeah, I don't even
you know what's
know
funny
what they
about
do
that?
there.
So it's like I'm learning all this because, you know, I practice all the time, right? And some songs sound bad if you tune them down. So like the singer was like, let's try this in a different, and like doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
You know, like You Ought to Know, I think is the only song that I know where you can play it in any key and it works. You know, I think that's an F sharp, I want to say.
I know I've done that song with like a couple different bands, and it's always different. Like we do it really fast, and then sometimes it's like a little slower.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's a cool song for that. You can vibe that song out totally.
Yeah.
You could play it faster. You could play it slow and sexy. But here's the thing. Do you actually get up and perform like as a guest with other bands? Do you like jump up on stage?
yeah, I do.
And is there any particular songs that they'll throw at you? Like,
I usually just be like, show me your set list, or I'll be like, hit me with your best shot, Highway to Hell, like stuff that I know almost usually every band does.
oh my God, I just remember this. I reached out to you like 2 years ago, I think. Remember I reached out to you one time? You didn't even know who I was. And I was like, listen, my singer had left, and I'd had an important show. I didn't have a female singer, and I had no singer. And I think I tried to see if you could fill in.
Yeah.
But you were busy or something.
I think I had a show or something. Yeah.
Because, you know, we went through so many singers, but I'm so happy that I have one now that's like, you know, legit.
Oh, I'm happy for you too.
Yeah.
It's good to have like a band that gels too. Like, you know.
But Jacked Up has survived a lot of changes, man. We went through drummers. You ever see a movie called This Is Spinal Tap?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you got to see it. It's a joke about the rock and roll bands. And their joke was that the drummer kept dying on them. Like he would blow up. He would just combust, or like some freak accident, and they had to keep having a new drummer all the time.
Oh my god!
And I used to make jokes about that. I'm like, we're like Spinal Tap, because Jacked Up went through a phase where there was a different drummer. Like there were so many. I look back and who's drumming today? Like who's?
And
this,
it's
you know?
so stressful losing musicians. Like, you know, because I feel like there's musicians out there that are good, that are not taken up. But a lot of the musicians around this area that are solid and good and do their homework and are really talented are already in bands.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
like if Johnny had to go on a trip, I mean, there's a lot of really good players that you could probably get someone to sub.
Yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't be the same,
but it's not going to be forever.
You don't have to cancel that show.
Yeah.
Like for an example, Todd Plesko is a great guy.
He's great, but he's
Sinner. He does his homework.
He's snatched up.
Yeah, but he's filled in. He's filled in with other bands as needed. Todd
had auditioned for us before Sinner, but our schedule is just so busy, and he's got his own life, you know, like so it just didn't fit. But I'm glad that he ended up with Sinner because they're perfect together. They fit so great, and their schedules fit better.
How did you meet those guys?
I've been friends with Steve for forever, since I've been in the music scene. David, I've been friends with. David's like my brother.
Which David? David Lee?
David Lee Freeman.
Or Taylor?
Both of them they're all like my brothers. Yeah. They actually played, going through a divorce now, but they played my wedding. So it was really cool. I'm like, I want a rock band at my wedding.
You know what would be cool? You would fit in really good with them if you just guest appeared with them, because they need you. I think that, nothing against Steve. Steve's a great singer, but it would be cool as hell watching you play with those guys.
Like a Sinner Jezebel show. That would be pretty badass.
That would be a nice ticket, a 1-2 punch.
That would be cool.
Well, hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what inspired you when you were younger and how you became the rock star that you are. So Sammy Jo, tell me about your early influences, man. Like what inspired you as a kid to become the rock star that you are now?
I think definitely the music that my parents listened to that influenced me a lot because I do a lot of what they listened to and I was brought up on. And then just like MTV was still a thing when I was around, like the videos and everything. So when I would be getting ready for school, I would put that on while I'm getting ready. And
So name some of these bands you're talking about.
Joan Jett, I think she's such a bad bitch. She's literally the coolest chick ever. And got to see her a couple
Is
years.
it safe to say that she was a pioneer for females in rock and roll?
Definitely, like close to it. And I know you were talking about Pat Benatar and Lita Ford is another one. I think but that kind of fits with Joan Jett because I'm pretty sure she was like her guitar player.
So those are the people that you grew up listening to?
Yeah.
Did you ever want to play guitar yourself or just vocals?
I want to. I have no patience at all. I've owned just about every instrument there is. I just don't play any of them.
So other than those three female people that you've mentioned, when MTV started getting popular, then you had like the Bangles, you had Heart.
Oh, I love Heart.
And then the whole Madonna thing. I mean, look, say what you want about Madonna. Madonna's not rock and roll. There's no doubt she's not. But at the same time, look at how she inspired.
She's killer and she knows what she's doing. Same with like Paula Abdul and stuff like that kind of fits in there. And I think she was kind of slept on. But I like that kind of funkiness and.
Yeah. So MTV introduced us to a lot of different types of genres. Like it went from rock to pop, right? And then we had the grunge scene.
Yep.
So that's another great thing. So here's the deal. So hair metal, I just watched a documentary on Paramount called Nothing But a Good Time. And if you get a chance, watch it because all it's about is about the Motley Crues, the Dawkins, all those bands that came out of LA in that time period and all the debauchery and all the success and all that great stuff. But that was a fun time for rock and roll.
It's interesting hearing about it all.
It was a fun time for rock and roll. So yeah, I love those bands and I listen to them every day, especially when I'm in the gym. But then the Seattle scene came and it kind of squashed that to some degree, right? Because now the music got like more serious. It got darker, Jeremy spoke in class today and, Soundgarden, right? And all that kind of stuff. And
Chris
I love
Cornell
that stuff too.
And
yeah, man, no, that's great stuff. I mean, I still listen to that, right? Nirvana. Then the Foo Fighters came out. The Foo Fighters are probably one of my favorite bands of all time. Love those guys.
I love that kind of stuff.
But I was raised on Van Halen, so that's where my head's at. But nonetheless, so the cool thing about MTV is that, it took us on this journey, right? So we got to see all these different genres, right? And then VH1 came out and they were more like adult, more rhythm and blues, more like, stuff like that, But yeah, so I guess I'm assuming that you had a lot of these opportunities to listen to all this type of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So how would you describe your sound and your voice?
We're very like dynamic. We're very oomphy. Like we're very like, I don't know, how do I explain our sound in the perfect way?
I would say there's a lot of dynamic. There's a lot of volume.
Yeah,
right?
very volume.
I think there's a lot of energy on stage because you're rockers, right?
We're very high energy.
So I think what happens sometimes, Johnny does a lot of really cool leads, but what's cool about Glenn is that he'll switch over from keyboards and put on a guitar. So you guys could have that dynamic, 2 guitar sound, which is what Jacked Up used to have.
We can go from like smooth to very full. Like, I feel like that's the perfect.
But also because you do a duo, if you had to, you could just tone it real down real fast.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's really cool, man? You ever think about doing like, taking some of your time on stage and just doing like a little acoustic set? All 5 of you just get on stools and do like a little.
We've done that. We've done an unplugged event actually at a VFW and it was so fun. Like it was so different. It was so fun. I was like, I feel like we're on like a little set of MTV Unplugged or something.
Totally. Because what happens is you're taking these songs that are great songs, but they sound differently now.
They sound so different and it's just a different vibe and it's kind of fun. It's just a change.
What if Jezebel announced one night that you're going to be doing one event? It's going to be like a Jezebel Unplugged. It's going to be all 5 of you for like a 3-hour show. That'd
be fun. We have to talk to a venue. Like you're giving me ideas now.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to make a recommendation. I want you guys to do it for me if you want. I want you to learn every rose has its thorn. Jezebel would kill that song.
I know you said that this morning.
Right?
Yes.
It's a thing about that song.
It's a good song. It definitely is
It's
a
got
good
a
song.
killer lead.
I think I could pull it off.
Yeah, good deal. All right, so tell me about your first band. Like, so you're young and you're learning to sing and you're getting good at it. What was your first rock band?
So I was actually in a country band.
No kidding.
Called Sammy Jo and the Hitmen. It just didn't have the energy I wanted. Love the guys, but they just didn't do their work. And then
How old were you at this point?
I was like 15. So
And
like,
what kind of country was it? Like the radio, like the popular
like
country?
your Miranda Lambert kind of vibe, Gretchen Wilson, so southern, very southern rockish. So still very upbeat, but just not what I wanted to do. My drummer ended up passing away in a motorcycle accident. So that's when I took a step back and I was like, I'm just gonna do something else that I love because I really stayed in the band for him. And when it did Jezebel, and took me a while to get some musicians together. And
so you said, okay, I'm going to put this kick-ass band together called Jezebel, and I'm going to go out and find the best musicians I can find. So what'd you do? Craigslist, band mix?
And I did band mix, which is great and also shit at the same time because you have your mediocre, like, just don't take it serious kind of like when I play around. And then you have your people that are just really good, but they're everywhere. So it's trying to get everybody on the schedule. And
I could know what I call it. It's like herding cats.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's so difficult. And I got lucky. There was another band that was kind of trying to take a step back from being a lead vocalist. So I ended up taking kind of over half that band. And then the musicians kind of just weeded himself out until I got to what I am now, like to the guys I got now.
So the thing is that you've been playing together now for so many years that you just get better and better. It's all repetition, right?
Oh, definitely.
Do you practice once a week, once every other week? Like, how do you get together for rehearsals?
We used to practice all the time. We have not practiced in over a year now. So we all practice on our own and kind of just gel together.
So you'll say, okay, we're going to do...
It's nerve-wracking sometimes.
We're going to do this particular song on this particular date. So everybody do your homework.
Yeah.
And then you'll get there and you'll do it.
Yeah.
Now, as musicians, and you guys are accomplished musicians, most of the time it works.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that one or two times where somebody forgets their part, or maybe, it could be a disaster.
Or there'll be one of us like, can we wait till next week? Or can we wait till tomorrow? Or there's been times where I'm like, this is really scary. We just added What I Am by Edie. I always say her name wrong. Brickle.
Edie Brickell.
Yeah, there we
Bohemians.
go. My Glenda was like, you're saying it. Oh, it's so fun.
The guitars, that's Jerry Garcia recorded that in the studio.
It's
with
such
the
a fun. It's so fun. I love that one. It's just so groovy and funky. And that one, I had no issues adding that one. But then we did Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, which I was terrified to just add that one in with no practice, but that's one of my favorite ones now.
Can you sing that Robert Plant high stuff?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite ones to do. We do Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. I know that's a very high one, very hard.
People love that, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, I love it when a female sings Robert Plant. We used to do the Immigrant Song. You know that?
Glenn does that one.
And it was cool. I used to get chills when we would do that.
I love it.
Because my female lead singer at the time can really hit those.
It's badass seeing female vocalists do that, especially because there's been men that'll come up to me and be like, you can't do that. That's a guy song. And I'll be like, okay, watch me. Because you're not going to tell me what I can't do.
See, as I said earlier, I think that I love male singers. And my old singer, Marty Young, became the lead singer of Leadfoot Grey. And he's a cool guy.
I know Marty, yeah.
Yeah, they've broken up. And that's a whole nother conversation, but he was limited to what he could do, whereas a female can cover that same stuff that he did, but then they can go on and do the Pat Benetars, the Joan Jetts.
He was always super respectful to me too. Like Leadfoot had come out and seen us, and Marty, I know, came out to see us, and he always was very respectful to me. Like he gave me that respect as a musician. It wasn't my age. It wasn't me being a female. It was just a musician. And I love musicians like that. That's what it's all about. And there are a lot of musicians in this area that'll sit there and talk shit behind each other's back, and they've got these big heads, and none of us need to be like that. We should bounce ideas off each other.
That's a good point. Here's the thing. I know a lot of musicians, right? Not just from this podcast, but just being out there.
Absolutely.
And I've been fortunate to have a lot of good, really solid people fill in with us, and I've filled in with other bands myself. But I see more people helping each other and working with each other than I do otherwise. I mean, I've heard stories in other markets. Like I have friends from New York and LA that are musicians that tell me it's a lot more cutthroat there
Yeah.
because they're competing for stage time and there's a lot more resentment and jealousy.
Yeah.
Down here in this part of Florida, man, it's all love. I mean, like you just said with Marty, like Marty's a great guy. And there's so many people like him that, you know, encourage other musicians, inspire other musicians. You know, I love, when I'm not playing, I love to go out and see bands.
I love going out and seeing bands too. Every time I have off, like Sunday fun day, those are like my days off. So I try to always find somebody.
So there's a band I always give props to, and you have to see these guys. They're called Rock Candy. Have you heard of them?
No, I haven't seen them yet.
They
Oh my
have
gosh.
2 females, 2 males, and another 2. So there's 6. So the first 4, they all sing. And they not only do they play the arena rock and the hair metal, but they can sing. And they're so freaking good. We got a chance to open up for them at Twisted Fork. And like, it was one of those shows where like, after I perform, I usually rush off and like do my own thing and like talk to fans or have drinks. In this case, I just stood in front of the stage and I just watched with my mouth open, like, holy shit.
There's a newer band called The Headbang that I've been kind of like that with their, and 80s, they play only 80s rock, and there's the way they dress and everything, and they're just so sweet. They're very, very nice. I went up and shook their hand, and we've been friends ever since. Like, oops, my bad.
See, but here's the thing. So there's a lot of good bands, a lot of good musicians, but they don't either have the lasting power or the staying power or the marketing. Jezebel has the marketing machine behind it. Jacked Up's got the marketing machine.
Yeah.
So like we're well known now. Like we're getting gigs now that I never thought we would get because people have seen us and heard us for many, many years now. So I always tell people like there's so many good drummers out there that nobody knows about. There's so many good bass players out there that nobody knows about because either A, they just can't get into a band, or B, they don't want to be in a committed. It's a commitment, man.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. I mean, there's a big events that you're missing out on because you're playing yourself. So, I mean, I even tell my spouse, like, I mean, if you don't want to come to my shows sometimes on the weekend, it would suck. But like, you know, I don't want you to miss out on everything either because sometimes we are missing out on concerts. But here's the thing, because you're the face and the voice of the band, you can never miss a show. No, ever.
You can't fill in for, you know, yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I found a bass player to fill in for me when I went to Mexico, and that was no problem. But like someone like you, I mean, people are coming to see you. So if there was a Jezebel show where there's a different woman up there, they'd be like, what the hell?
And there are some local bands that will like find fill in lead vocalists. And I mean, all power to them, but I think that's so weird. Well, I would never want anybody taking like my spot, like not being like that person. I just think it's weird because it's different. Like we're different singers, we're different people, and it's not Jezebel.
I think the only exception would be like, let's say there was a weird thing where you had to get a knee replacement.
Yeah.
So you knew you were going to be out for 30 days.
Yeah.
So if you announced well in advance, hey, I'm going to be out, but my good friend from LA is going to come in and she's going to cover for me. And I encourage you all to go see her. You know, that's a different story. That Rock Candy did that. But that's the only time you can do it.
I had back surgery and had a back brace on, and I still sang. I just couldn't move around or jump anything. But I was like, I'm still gonna sing. They're like, you're crazy, but I still did it. I had my wisdom teeth removed and I had stitches in it. I still sang. So
that to me, that's a testament of your commitment.
Yeah,
of
like
passion,
I'm very
right?
passionate. I love my band. It's all I do, and I mean, I don't want to like.
It's your baby.
Yeah, it's my baby. I'm married to it.
So what's the future hold for Jezebel? Like, where do you see this thing going?
Honestly, I cannot tell you, but I want to go as far as I can with it always. I want to get more originals. I'm pushing my guys to get more originals out. The 2 originals that we do have were not written with Jezebel. They were written with other artists individually with me. One was for a movie and another one was for a TV series on Roku. So we incorporate those into Jezebel, but we need something that's our own, like as Jezebel, as the bandmates. And I just want to get better shows, more shows. I mean, we do some incredible places already now. But
would you consider traveling outside of the area? Like, for an example, would you ever go over to the East Coast of Florida? Or would you ever go up north? Or like, are you, landlocked or committed?
Absolutely. I'd go everywhere. I know we had a show in Tallahassee and then COVID happened and everything. So some of that stuff got messed up. We were talking to somebody in Indiana about playing a theater up there. But with all that stuff that happened during the pandemic. So we're just trying to come back from that now. And because the entertainment business was down for a while.
Well, one of my bucket lists is to play at Sloppy Joe's in Key West.
Yes.
The way that works is they make you do a 6-night residency. So you're playing 6 nights in a row from 10p to 2a. So it's very daunting for a singer because let's say, okay, your first 2 shows, you're killing it. By your 3rd show, you're probably starting to feel a little
struggling.
By your 4th show, you're like, okay. By your 5th show, you're probably in pain. And by your sixth show, you're probably like, I got to get the
I'd
hell
be
out of here.
panicking. Oh my God, I would be panicking. Is that really all it is? Oh my God.
So what you need to do at that point is you have to have your other guys sing more than they've ever sang
They would be singing a lot more.
Right.
I would be, yeah, you're helping me a lot
Yeah.
more. Thank God they sing now because we have all these high songs and super screamo songs sometimes. And I'm like, you guys got to push in. You got to push in.
Now, for your harmonies, do you try to rehearse that? Do you try to practice on that? Do you try to find time to get together on that? And are you good at harmonizing?
Yeah. I never used to be because I always wanted to steal that lead, not purposely, but just because I was used to it. So we're starting to get a little better now. We do, like I said, we haven't practiced as much as we should, but we're talking.
So a great harmonizer is Dana Bienvenue, who's the lead singer of the Braden Tucky Death Rays. She used to be in Jacked Up.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's very good about finding where she needs to be. No matter where you are, whether you're on or off, she'll find a way to go where she needs to go.
Yeah.
Like she'll always do that. Like she's got that natural talent of finding the harmony no matter where it is.
Glenn has helped me a lot with that. I will watch him and I'll like look at him and it'll help me a lot. Cause at first I was like, and then I would have to harmonize with Johnny and he would come in and he'd be like, just watch me. So I started watching him and then now I would know where to come in and like how to do it. And on breaks, he would take me off to the side and he'd be like, this is how to do it. So we kind of practiced together a little bit. So
hats off to Johnny.
Because at first, I mean, I didn't understand it. And I mean, Glenn's like my right hand. Glenn always like.
Well, you surrounded yourself with quality musicians and they obviously care about you.
They always help me.
But you know what bothers me? There was a band that the singer was always singing off key. And I said to myself, why aren't they helping him? Why aren't they either saying to him, hey man, we'll step it down if you want, or tell him not even to try to sing that song?
Yeah.
And this person was good, but at the same time, they just weren't always on the right. They were out of pitch or off key. And it used to drive me crazy. And I'm like, why would his bandmates let him do that?
Because they got to hear it. I mean, especially being an instrumentalist. I mean, I'm sure you guys have to hear that.
I mean, when I hit a D note, I can then sing in D because I'm like D, whereas like, are these people like deaf?
Tone deaf or something? Like,
I mean, one day I saw this band and we had to turn around and walk out like, this is a train wreck.
My drummer told me that he could not sing. And I was like, yeah, you can. Like, you're being hard on yourself. So we went out to karaoke and I paid the karaoke ladies to let him sing. And oh my God, he's horrible.
So he was telling the truth.
Yeah, Rick will be like, yeah, I suck at singing. So we'll all joke with him, like, don't give Rick a mic or whatever. Like, yeah, he's not as horrible as he says he is, but he's not the greatest singer. But yeah.
So do you still enjoy singing karaoke and surprising people?
Oh yeah.
People don't probably realize you're in a band, so you'll get up there and just
every now and then when we do like Motorworks and stuff, we'll go down to like Peggy's or something because we know they're open late and we'll sing karaoke. We'll be like, hey, we're coming down. If it's like a Saturday night, I know I got no more shows for the rest of the weekend. We'll go out and have fun.
Yeah. Cool. You know what? So you and I play a lot of the same venues, right?
Yes.
So there's some venues that I absolutely love. I don't know if you're playing the Twisted Fork yet.
No, not yet. I just went down there like a month ago just to check it out and see.
I'll help you out with that because I know the guys. But that's a great venue because A, it's a huge outdoor stage, right? It's covered.
It's huge, yeah.
B, they have top of line gear, like in-house speakers. And then C3, they have a guy that does the sound for them, like a house sound guy. He's one of the best. He'll make you sound freaking amazing. So when Jacked Up gets to play down there, it's always like a blessing for us to get to play. We just love it because we always sound our best. And we try to record it. We have like one of those little square cameras called the Zoom.
It's like a Zoom, yeah.
So we put that out and then we try to record through the board, and because we want to just capture that the best we can. Because sometimes a cell phone doesn't necessarily do you justice.
No, never.
So
ever.
like a fan will like have great intentions and they'll record you and then they'll post it and then you're like, it's not the best recording.
We actually go live with all of our shows and I'm like, yeah, they don't do us justice at all.
When during COVID, weren't you the first guys to be doing simulcasts?
Yeah, we started doing like little podcasts at the house, just trying to.
No, but you were doing your shows. You could.
Oh yeah, we went out and we actually did a free Florida event. My ex. I'm not even gonna give him the time of day for his name, but we got an event together and we did it at Scooter Haven and we got a bunch of different bands and then West Coast Florida Riders came in and did their anniversary party also.
Those guys love you.
Yeah, so it came in.
You used to always do their stuff.
We did a lot of stuff with them.
Remember them? Like you were doing like all their stuff?
Yeah, we did. Oh my God, we did, I think their first anniversary party, maybe their second anniversary party. I know we did a couple different anniversary parties with them and It was a blast. But we did this big Free Florida event during COVID on a private event on a private property, so we wouldn't get in trouble. We actually had the cops called out on us to come out there, and cops were really cool. They said as long as we shut it down at a good time. It was outside, so it was widespread. There was a bunch of cabins. We ended up selling out the hotels around us, and there was like 10 bands, and it was a blast. And we ended up starting the live there. And ever since then, we've been live with our shows.
You have a big following, man, and they're enthusiastic people too. Like they always comment on your Facebooks. They're always like very pro Sammy Jo, right? What do you suppose that is? Like, why do you think people love your band so much, and why are people so like into you? Like, what?
I think
what do you guys bring? What makes you unique?
I think that you really need to be connected with your fans. I hate even calling them fans because most of them end up as friends, and we just always try to communicate with them. We always try to. I can't always message everybody back, and I can't always comment back, and sometimes it takes me weeks to comment back to people. But I always try to like give people the time of day and treat them just like how we are. Like we're human, just like we just are musicians, and we go up there. So I mean, I just try to treat them like.
But people really get off on you guys, man. Like they like, you know, like get jacked up. Sometimes we'll be people that come up to us at the end of the show. They're so happy and they're so like, oh my God, that was so good. We love you guys. You guys are great. You know, like, and I'm like, I'm blown away. I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm like, I made their freaking night. You know what I'm saying?
And I think people love music. And I mean, if you're good at it, then they're going to love you. So.
Yeah. But I also think that you guys, like I said earlier, you're a brand. And now people have expectations. So when they come to see Jezebel,
I think the passion,
they're going to know they're going to rock, right?
I think yeah.
You're going to bring it.
I think the passion, the look, everything, like, I mean, I feel like look does have something to do with it. I feel the way you dress, the way you act, the way you perform, the way your equipment is, the way your lights are, everything. Like,
true. So that's what makes you a performer.
Yeah.
You've graduated from musician to entertainer. Now you're a performer.
And I'm always
you know what your parents mean something, right? Your energy means something. You know, having the right lighting. Are you guys using, like you said, you mentioned you're going back to lasers now?
We brought back in our lasers. We've been upgrading our lighting. Like I'm trying to get more lighting. I want the ones that move around and everything. And like,
you know what? When I first saw 22N at the Gator Club, it's another place you should be playing at, by the way. They had these TV screens, right? Like, so like, you know, this is probably like back then this was a big deal, but now they got these really big ones. Like,
yeah.
LED. So they had them behind the drum kit and they had them off to the side. And the visual was fantastic.
It's incredible, yeah.
The only problem I have with this, and it's not the money, it's just that there's just me and Larry, right? And we're setting all this shit up. And like, how the hell are we going to set up the stage, get the shit going, make sure we sound good, which is the most important thing. Now go back and put up the lights.
That's what I thought
like,
too.
We're just two guys, man. Like I don't have a crew.
Yeah.
And my female singer, Brittany, I don't expect her to do much other than show up and look great and sound great.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask her to start moving gear.
Yeah. Luckily, I hire my own production now, so we have that part covered. We have all the production coming in and everything. But I mean,
so you have a crew, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, but my lighting, I bring all my own lighting. I haul all my own lighting. I bring all my own lighting. I set up.
But setting the lighting up is hard. That's the key.
Yeah, I set it all up.
You can bring all the lighting, but you have to get up on a scaffold.
I set it all up, and it's a bitch. And half the time I have to ask like for help and stuff. I mean, even with my signs, they're over 5 foot, and I'm definitely not that tall.
Those are the cool signs where you can like accordion.
Yeah, we got to slide it up now.
We have those too, but here's what happened. We had some bad weather, and they got blown around, and they got blown up, and got wet. So now we went to vinyl signs, like the outdoor signs.
Ours is vinyl, like ours
and
is
I put them on
vinyl,
PCP piping.
That's smart.
So now it's like the wind can go through it without them freaking out and blowing up. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing we got one and it has like this hook that hooks on the top of it and it like popped off and like got lost at a venue. So now we can't use one of them. So we have to like get a hold of Vistaprint and be like, hey, can we have another one?
But like when you're up on stage doing your best and worrying about music, you can't be like worrying about the signage or the lighting. And sometimes like something will break behind me or like the sign blows over. And I'm like, just continue to play. Don't even think about it.
That just happened the other day. And I was like looking at it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, Quinn, like go get it. She's like, right now. I'm like, yeah. And then I just go back to play and like. So
what are some of the fun mistakes that you guys have? Like for an example, we would be getting ready to go on stage and all of a sudden we have to switch out a microphone cable. We're like, well, what just happened? Why was it working fine 5 minutes ago and all of a sudden the cable died? Like a Twisted Fork, the guy would be running, give us a new cable or unplug the monitor and switch the monitor out. Like you ever have those instances like right at showtime?
We played Motorworks one time and I use a cordless, so I have antennas on my rack, the system that gets it working. And my mic kept cutting out, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening? So I go over, and my antennas were never put on. So if you don't put the antenna on, and then one of them was actually broke from the previous sound guy. So it was a mess the rest of the night.
Are you always switching out your batteries, putting fresh batteries in?
Always. I always have, and I don't use rechargeable. I should, but I'm terrible with going home.
Well, you go to Costco and you can buy a shitload of batteries.
Yeah, I go on Amazon for the win, Amazon Prime. They're there next day, and I'm good.
And you get like a bunch of them.
Yeah, I just buy like a 30 pack, and I'm good to go.
Right. Yeah, because I'm wireless on my bass, and even if I have half power left, instead of being cheap and like I can still, I think no, just throw them out, put fresh ones in.
That's what I do, and I'll just keep them for like a remote or something, or just throw them out. Like I do the Duracell power boosters now, and they last like 3 shows too, so it's great.
Do you think that particular brand is better than like any other brand?
They're the best.
I'm using the Costco Kirkland brand, and I think to me that they're like the equivalent of Duracell. But then maybe there's
I've always had issues with other batteries. I hate Energizer. Like they do not work. They do not last as long as Duracell power boosters. And I used to use just regular Duracell, and it would get me through like a show and a half. The power boosters last like 3 shows.
For your voice, are you doing any particular warm-ups, like vocal techniques before the show? Are you sucking on any lozenges?
I drink a lot of water. I don't do any dairy on show days. No dairy.
Why is that?
Because it phlegms you up. It makes you like really phlegmy and stuff. I don't do, I drink only warm water the entire time. I won't drink anything cold except that if I have like a little drink every now and then, that's something cold. But other than that, I don't do it.
Were you ever forced to like take prednisone to keep your voice going?
Yeah, I've had prednisone because I have a lot of tonsil issues too. So I get tonsil stones, and for a vocalist, it sucks. I've had esophagitis because I have intestinal issues. So battling with that, it's been hard as a vocalist, but what are you going to do, But
like you've actually trained yourself to sing properly through like
my diaphragm, yeah.
And it's funny because you're like a short person, and like Christina Aguilera, like I always wondered how the hell does she get that sound out of that little body? Like she can, really just.
I've laid on the floor in my music room, and I'll put my hands on my diaphragm just so I know I'm using it, because then you can feel if you're using it, and it's harder when you're laying down on the floor, so you're pushing. And there's been times where I'll go on a run and I'll sit there and I'll sing some of the times while I'm running, because when you're moving on stage, you're really using a lot of energy, and it's hard to sing and run. But if you do that, then you're like getting your body used to it. And
so the bottom line is that your voice is your instrument, and you're doing whatever you got to do to protect it.
Absolutely.
You don't smoke, I assume.
I'm 420 friendly, but other than that, no.
Yeah. Now, speaking of 420, so here's the deal. So now that there's gummies, right? Because, any kind of smoke like flour, if you're going to smoke the stuff, it might give you a little situation. I know that musicians like to go with the gummies.
Yeah, on show days, I don't usually smoke because I don't want it to dry me out. I don't want it to, like you said, the smoke bothers you. Gummies really don't do much for me. Sometimes I'll do them, but like I said, I have intestinal issues, so I don't know if that's why they don't work right for me either, because my food doesn't digest like everybody else's. So
speaking of food, so now I want to ask you questions about your hobbies and your interests and things outside of music, because a lot of the viewers, want to get to know Sammy Jo, right? Actually, they are getting to know you through this podcast, but tell us a little bit more about like, what do you like to do when you're not gigging? Tell us about like your home life, your pets. What are some of your favorite places to go out and eat?
I'm definitely a foodie. I love food. There's a buffet in Sarasota. It's called Super Buffet. They have like sushi and lobster and everything. Oh my God, I don't know.
Is that the one on Bee Ridge?
I do not know. I get lost in my mailbox, but
because there was one. I know what you're talking about.
It's so good. I'm gonna have to find it and send you the address, because it's the best thing ever. It's like $18 and you get everything in it. It's so good. But I like going to like a lot of the family restaurants just because support local and stuff like that. But I'm definitely a foodie.
Are you like into barbecue, wings? Are you a meat eater?
I love barbecue. Barbecue is my favorite. I'm actually going to Kansas City in the first week of October, and I'm stoked for the barbecue.
Business or pleasure?
Pleasure. So
you'll enjoy some barbecue.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What about Italian, Mexican?
I love Italian. Mr. Tequila's Mexican. So good. I'm a big queso girl.
Do you live in Bradenton or are you Sarasota?
I live in Waimama now.
Where is that?
Like by Ruskin and Brandon.
No kidding.
I have always been kind of a country girl and always lived out in the woods. So being in Bradenton and Sarasota was kind of like, oh gosh, this was like a culture shock.
But the funny thing about living here, even in Sarasota, if you drive east, just like, 10 miles, you're in, like, there's horses and there's freaking forests.
Yeah, there's everything. Like, yeah.
It's crazy how Sarasota is so diverse. You got the beach and then you got the downtown, but then you go out and you got these like orange groves and places like that, right? Swamp.
Yeah, you got Mayaca, like a little bit out that way. Like we live like by the Manatee River, and then if you go like either way, like there's just stuff to do.
Did you have any issues with that recent flooding that came through?
Yes. Oh my gosh, we had to be rescued by Hillsborough Fire Department. They had to come get us with a boat. So, and we have 4 animals. I've got 2 cats, I've got a Siamese named Ollie, and a Maine Coon Calico named Rory, and I've got a Golden Retriever puppy named Cooper that we call Cooper Duper Super Trooper. He gets so excited. And then Molly, she's a mutt, but she's my protector.
So these 4 animals actually got saved along with you?
Yes, I would not have left without them.
How did you corral them and get them out into the boat? Like,
oh my gosh, it was so difficult. And I was so sick that week too. I actually had to cancel shows, which I never do. And so I was sick, I'm coughing, and we're going out there and could barely get off our porch, and trying to get them into this little float up boat was a nightmare.
I know, right? But they did it.
But they were so sweet. And Molly is, like I said, very protective. So she's not as friendly as everybody else. She's very like in your face barking, like you got to calm her down. But the fire department was really sweet about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of water that came through.
We had a
Sarasota,
current coming
Bradenton area.
through. It totaled
it was
out.
insane, right? It was like record-setting flooding.
It totaled out Quinlan's cop car because she had her cop car there. I had my car right next to her, and I left my music equipment in it. So I'm panicking the whole time about my music equipment.
So was her car like floating?
No, I'm surprised it wasn't. Our AC unit floated away in the backyard of our house. So we had to have that replaced. We had some walls replaced, and we couldn't go back for like a week. We actually just stopped getting stuck in our yard finally.
Because of like the mud?
Like my little car looks like I've been off-roading in it. It's crazy.
Well, there's advantages of living out there and there's disadvantages of living
It was
there.
6 months since we lived out there, and we were in not a flood zone. So that was, our neighbor was like, this hasn't happened in 10 and a half years. But of course it did when we moved out there.
So when you're not rocking and rolling, you're enjoying all those foods you mentioned. You're hanging out with your animals, right?
Going out on the boat. I love being out on the water. It's fun.
Do you travel? Do you ever get out and go to different places or different cities or?
I like going everywhere. Like,
weren't you in Vegas not too long ago?
Yes, it's one of my favorite places. I've been. This is my 3rd year going. We stayed at the new Fontainebleau.
Oh yeah,
freaking
nice.
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It was gorgeous.
I want to go to Vegas.
Oh man, you got to.
There's a place called there's like a globe. What do you call that? The Sphere.
The Sphere. I actually got to. I got tickets to it, and I got to see the show there, and it was. Wow.
How do you explain that? Like, explain that to somebody that's never set foot in the place.
Wow, I don't even know how to explain it. It was the most incredible. Like, it's
like the screen is all around you, 360.
Your face.
Right? Is it
like,
all around you?
It's all around you, all above you. It feels like you're in it. The sounds, the way it feels. The stairs are very scary. Like, there's no railings and it's so steep. I feel like it's gonna take something bad to happen, like somebody falling and hurting themselves before like they realize like, yeah, we need to put something up. Because I mean, it was really scary. It was really scary.
So was it like a movie that you saw, or was it a concert?
It's it was kind of like a movie, but it was like weird. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, all your senses are being.
Yeah, it was like a nature movie, but like, oh man, it was crazy.
So one of the best concerts that I've seen in the last couple of years was the Eagles at Amalie Arena. And they were so freaking good. It was insane. They had the best sound system I ever heard in my life. I heard that they took that show and did it at the Sphere. Now, I didn't go, and I'm sure it was really expensive.
I did see it being advertised. Yeah.
But and then the Grateful Dead, they did a show there, and well, not the Grateful Dead, but whatever they call themselves now, Dead and Company.
I know what you're talking about though, because we went into the Venetian and they had the Grateful Dead bears up. Like all up. They had so much advertising when we were there because they had just played there.
All this psychedelic stuff, they showed a clip on YouTube. And if you were high, you must have had the most incredible experience. They did all the Grateful Dead, like tie-dye stuff and like all the kaleidoscope stuff all around you while the band's on stage.
Oh my gosh.
And then U2, who's another band I love, they, I think, opened up the place and they did like a residency there.
I couldn't even imagine a concert in there. Like just being in there for the movie and stuff, it was like insane. So I don't even know how you would watch the band with everything around you. You couldn't even like, they would be little peas, like little ants.
Sure. What about, all right, so in these final minutes, how can people contact you How can people learn about your band? How do people see where they can go out and, see your band live, right?
Jezebel Rocks on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're mostly on Facebook. Like that's where
So
a lot
Jezebel
of our
Rocks
stuff is.
is for all those.
Jezebel Rocks.
So if
for
I
all
went to
of them.
TikTok and I typed that in, I'd get that, right?
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So all that stuff.
Yep.
That's great. So you own that Jezebel Rocks. That's great.
Yes.
Because there's other jacked ups out there, and sometimes people get confused because they'll type in jacked up and they get a country band out of like Nashville. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's jacked up Sarasota.
Yeah, now we put Jezebel Rocks. So I put that together just so people can, because
Yeah.
if you put just Jezebel, I mean,
Right.
it's going to put makeup
No,
artists.
you're
I mean,
smart.
you got everything.
So the bottom line is that people can go and see your schedule.
Yeah.
You play all over. You're doing Sarasota County. You're doing Manatee County. You even go beyond that, right? You got some venues either further north.
Yeah, we go everywhere, and we actually are playing a new place in October. It's a nudist resort, so that's going to be quite interesting. I'm really excited. They have a Revive event going into it, and it's going to be.
You have to explain to our viewers that the band won't be nude.
No,
but
we won't be nude.
The customers
but-
will be.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's optional.
Clothing optional. You don't have to. You don't have to be nude.
So
but
let's talk
you can
about
get
that.
a little wild.
Here's the thing. Okay, so look, I mean, I would never do that personally, but isn't it kind of weird? Like if you're going to be playing and like people are dancing and like you're seeing things.
I'm
like,
wondering how that's gonna be. I'm such a funky, fun person. Anyways, I don't think it'll bother me at first. I think I'm gonna be like, okay, this is weird. There might be some people I don't really want to see like that, but
I think. I mean, again,
definitely gonna need a drink.
I think most of them are unattractive. Most of them are going to be the kind of people that you don't want to see naked.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
not like they're all going to be like Playboy.
Yeah,
people.
no, definitely gonna need a little drink just to take the edge off a little bit. Maybe Jameson and ginger get waiting for me. I don't know, but I think it'll be fun. I think people like that too are gonna be kind of wild and like crazy anyway. So I'm hoping they get into it a little bit more. It's also a duo, so it's a lot more personable. So I wonder how that's gonna be too. Like
Interesting.
different with the band.
What's the date on that? Do you remember?
October 12th.
Okay.
At Paradise Lakes Resort in Lutz. It's going to be our first time there. I'm
Interesting.
excited.
So watch now. They're going to have record attendance now.
We won't be live with that show. We go live with every show. We won't be live with that show.
Yeah, right. You have to protect yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the final thoughts, what is the most important thing? What do you love the most about your life right now?
I love my animals. I love my spouse. She's the best thing ever. I'm so happy finally being with somebody I'm connecting with. My band is everything. It's my life. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't in music. So I'm just happy with the way everything's going. I just kind of take every day at a time because what else are you going to do? Life is cold and life is hard sometimes. And
I think
you just got to try to stay as positive.
We're truly blessed to be able to be musicians. I mean, we're just cover bands, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
We're out there making money, playing music, having fun, right? Well, who's got it better than us?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm going to look back in this time period in a couple of years from now and be like, wow, man. I mean, I was playing music with my friends every freaking weekend and getting paid for it.
I've got a fun job. I'm independent. I get to do what I want. I have more fun. Like I have more time to travel and experience things because of this.
And you had mentioned earlier too, isn't it cool when you convert a new fan?
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
someone's never come and seen you sing, never heard your band, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, we dig you guys, we're gonna be back.
Actually, one of my best friends started off as a fan, and we did not even know each other. We started off talking on Facebook. That's it. That's how we knew each other. He found me on Facebook, and we've been best friends ever since. I actually go to Vegas with him every year. So
very cool.
So it's really cool.
So Jezebel Rocks on social media.
Yes.
And thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I will definitely
me.
come see you. The first chance that I get, I will come see Jezebel live.
Please do.
All right, Sammy Jo.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.